Snow had been falling for 3 days straight when my husband broke my leg. The sound wasn't like the movies, not a clean snap. More like a wet branch giving way. My scream came half a second later, like my body needed time to catch up. December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. The tree in our living room glowed with warm white lights, the ones I'd fought for at the hardware store. I won that argument. Lost almost everything else in 7 years of marriage, but I won that one. I stared at the golden reflections on the hardwood floor, while I tried to remember how to breathe. Poppy was upstairs. 6 years old, supposedly asleep, but probably awake waiting for Santa. The thought of her hearing me, of her coming down those stairs and seeing her mother on the floor, that was the only thing keeping me conscious. My name is Larkin. I'm 31. I met my husband at a coffee shop in Burlington when I was 23, waitressing with an art history degree nobody needed. He was finishing his MBA. What I thought was charm was really attention. There's a difference. Charm makes you feel good. Attention makes you feel watched. When you're 23 and lonely, you don't know the difference yet. We married 8 months later. My father didn't like him. I pretended not to notice, but my dad had this way of going quiet around people he didn't trust. The way a hunter goes quiet in the woods. My husband took a job at a private equity firm in Connecticut. We moved to a colonial on 3 acres. I tried starting a small business selling vintage frames online. He shut it down within a year. Said it was embarrassing, his wife selling things like a flea market vendor. I told myself I was choosing my marriage. Poppy came when I was 26. He missed most appointments. The night I went into labor, he was at a work dinner, didn't answer for 3 hours. My father drove through a snowstorm to be at the hospital. He was the first to hold her after me. Things got worse after Poppy was born. Not all at once. That's what people don't understand. It happens like water damage. You don't notice until the ceiling's already sagging. The first time he hit me, Poppy was 11 months old. I'd given her a piece of his birthday cake without asking. He slapped me, then cried, then apologized for an hour. Said his father did the same to his mother. Said it would never happen again. By the time Poppy was 3, I'd learned how to wear my hair to cover bruises, which long-sleeved shirts had cuffs that stayed buttoned during PTA meetings. I learned to apologize first because sometimes he'd let it go. My father saw it. Every visit, he watched my husband like a man watches someone with prices marked wrong. When he left, he'd hug me too long and whisper, "If you ever need me, you call. Day or night. I'll be there before the phone hits the cradle." I always said I was fine. I was not fine. What changed everything was a name on a credit card statement. A hotel in Stamford. Standing reservation every Thursday for 14 months. I confronted him. Stupid. He didn't deny it. Told me her name was Remley, 26, an analyst at his firm. Said he was in love with her, planning to tell me after the holidays. Then he told me if I tried to take Poppy or any money, he'd make sure I never saw my daughter again. I asked what he meant. He smiled. The same smile from that coffee shop 8 years earlier. "Larkin, you have no idea what I'm capable of." That was Tuesday morning. By Tuesday afternoon, I called my father. Didn't tell him everything. Just said, "Dad, I think I need help." Long pause. "Are you somewhere safe right now?" "He's at work." Listen carefully. 3 things. First, put a notebook somewhere only you can find it. Write down every account number, password, safe deposit box. Take photos of important documents. Email them to yourself at an address he doesn't know. Make a new email if you have to. Okay. Second, teach Poppy a code. Something she can do without him noticing. Does she have a stuffed animal? A rabbit? Mr. Hopkins. Perfect. Teach her that if Mommy ever gets hurt, she takes Mr. Hopkins and puts him on the front porch. Make it a game. Don't make it scary. And third, memorize my cell number. Teach Poppy to dial it. Make her practice every day. He paused. "Larkin, I love you. We're getting you out, but it'll take a few weeks. I'm getting a place nearby. 20 minutes away by Thursday. You won't see me, but I'll be there." Wednesday morning, I taught Poppy the rabbit game. Made it sound magical, a secret signal to Grandpa. She loved it. Practiced like she was performing on Broadway. Memorized his number in 2 hours. Wednesday night, I started the notebook. Found things I didn't know existed. A second account in just his name. A safe deposit box. Emails to a lawyer about a postnuptial agreement I'd never seen, never signed. Thursday he came home early. He never came home early. 4 in the afternoon, already drunk, small bag from a jewelry store in his hand. He set it on the counter. I want you to know I bought her something for Christmas. I said nothing. I'm leaving you. I moved most of the money last night while you were asleep. Did you notice? You didn't notice. I had photos in my new email account he couldn't access. I'm taking Poppy with me. Something broke loose in my chest. Over my dead body. He stood up slowly, grabbed me by the hair. What happened next came in flashes. The counter against my hip. His hand in my hair. Glass hitting the floor. My voice smaller than I expected saying please. I saw Poppy at the top of the stairs for 1 second. Mr. Hopkins under her arm. I caught her eye. Mouthed, porch. She turned and disappeared. He dragged me into the living room. Threw me by the Christmas tree. Started screaming things I don't remember. I was watching the gold reflections on the floor, thinking very calmly that I needed to keep him in this room. Keep his attention on me. Give Poppy time. He kicked my ribs. I curled up. He grabbed my leg, twisted it, stomped down hard on my knee. That sound. The wet branch. I heard it before I felt it. Then pain so big it turned the whole room white. When my vision came back, he was on his phone laughing. Talking to her, to Remley. Then I heard the front door. The soft click of it opening. Cold air. Small bare feet on the porch. Something being set down. Mr. Hopkins. Then the kitchen phone lifted off the cradle. Slowly, carefully. 6 button presses. For more. Her voice. Grandpa, it's me. Mommy looks like she's going to die. She's on the floor and won't get up. Pause listening. I put Mr. Hopkins on the porch like you said. Another pause. Daddy is here. He's making Mommy bleed. My husband heard her. Turned around. Face changed. Started walking toward the kitchen. Poppy said, Grandpa, hurry. Then she did something no 6-year-old should ever have to do. She put the phone down gently on the counter, leaving the line open. Walked in her nightgown with bare feet into the living room. Past her father. Over to me. She lay down next to me on the floor. Put her small arm across my chest. It's okay, Mommy. Grandpa's coming. My husband stopped. I don't know what stopped him, but he stopped. Looked at his daughter lying next to her broken mother. Something passed across his face I couldn't name. Maybe shame. Maybe fear. Maybe just calculation. He went upstairs. I heard him packing. Sirens. Then my father's voice, maybe 4 minutes after the sirens. First one through the door. Had a bag with him, a doctor's bag. My father, it turned out, had been a paramedic for 26 years before he opened the hardware store. Army, then county. Quit when my mother got sick. I learned this on my living room floor while he stabilized my leg with the calm hands of a man who'd done it 1,000 times. He looked at Poppy. You are the bravest girl I've ever known. I did the rabbit game, Grandpa. You sure did, sweetheart. The police took my husband out in handcuffs that night. They had the recording from the kitchen phone. Poppy's statement, taken by a gentle female officer, who let her hold a stuffed bear from the cruiser. The photographs I'd taken of myself over 3 years, emailed to the account my father told me to make. The credit card statements. The draft postnuptial agreement. They had a lot. My leg was broken in 2 places. Tibia clean through, hairline fracture in the kneecap. Cast for 10 weeks, brace for 6 more. Physical therapy 3 times a week for almost a year. I still limp when it's cold. I've learned to think of it as a reminder of what I survived. My husband was charged with felony aggravated assault, domestic battery, child endangerment. His firm fired him within 48 hours. During the trial, I learned he'd been planning something worse than divorce. New life insurance policy on me, premium so large it triggered a flag. Searches on his work computer the prosecutor showed in court that I won't repeat. There was a reason he came home early December 23rd. The judge sentenced him to 12 years. He'll serve at least 8. I moved back to Vermont with Poppy 3 months after the trial. We live 15 minutes from my father's hardware store. Poppy is 7 now. Has a real rabbit, a soft gray one named Marigold. Mr. Hopkins lives on a shelf in her bedroom, retired with full honors. 3 things before I go. First, for anyone in that house right now, the house with water damage you keep telling yourself isn't there. The people who love you have already noticed. They're waiting for you to call. They've been waiting for years. The phone call isn't the hardest part. The hardest part is the lie you've been telling yourself to stay. You can put the lie down. Second, for the mothers. I thought staying was protecting my child. I was wrong. The bravest thing I did for my daughter was let her see me leave. The second bravest was teaching her a small game with a stuffed rabbit, so she'd know her instincts were trustworthy. Children know more than we think. Give them a way to act on what they know. Third, for my father. He doesn't know how to use the internet, but if anyone reads this to him, I want him to know I think about that whisper at the door for years. If you ever need me, you call. I heard you every time. I just needed to believe I deserved to use that number. I did. So do you. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. You can text STAR to 88788. They're there. They've been there the whole time. You deserve to be happy. Put the rabbit on the porch. I spent 2 years trying to understand how a woman like me ended up on that floor. What I've learned is that every single thing was the slow result of 1,000 smaller choices made years before. The first choice was telling myself attention was the same as love. It isn't. A man who watches you the way he watched me in that coffee shop isn't loving you. He's measuring you. The second choice was every time I swallowed my truth. I told myself I was choosing peace. I was choosing silence. And silence is the soil that grows men like him taller. But here's what matters. The same law that brought me to that floor got me out. The phone call I made Tuesday. The notebook Wednesday night. The game I taught my daughter. None of those felt heroic. They felt like small, frightened acts. But they were seeds, and Thursday night when I needed them, they'd grown into the thing that saved my life. Strength is not a feeling. It's a series of small decisions made before you know you'll need them. Wisdom isn't knowing the answer. It's being willing to ask, am I safe? Am I happy? Am I telling myself the truth? And character, real character, is what Poppy showed when she walked past her father in her nightgown and lay down next to her broken mother. She was 6. She'd been taught a small game with a rabbit, and when it mattered, she chose courage because somebody she trusted told her gently that her instincts were worth listening to. Teach a child that. Teach yourself that. The phone call you're afraid to make today is the rescue you'll need tomorrow. Make it anyway. You are worth the trouble it takes to save you.